It was midnight. The door burst open and he said, "Trust me, this is for your safety." I didn't know then that I was in the hands of the Italian Mafia. What happened next changed my life forever. Hit subscribe and buckle up, because this story gets dark. My name is Sophia, and 3 months ago, I was living a completely normal life in New York City. I worked as a translator for international clients, lived in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, and spent my weekends at coffee shops working on my novel. But everything changed the night of October 13th. Before we dive in, if you love thrilling mafia stories and dark romance tales, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Trust me, you're going to want to follow this journey. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. It started with a phone call 3 weeks before the kidnapping. I was finishing a translation project for an Italian business consortium when I received a call from an unknown international number. The voice on the other end was smooth, controlled, with a thick Italian accent that made every word sound like velvet. "Miss Russo. Sophia Russo. You translated a document for the Marconi Group last week, correct?" "Yes," I replied cautiously. "Who is this?" "Someone who needs your discretion. That document contained sensitive information. Information that, in the wrong hands, could be very dangerous. For you." My heart pounded. "I sign NDAs. I don't share anything I translate." "I believe you," the voice said. "But not everyone does. Be careful, Miss Russo. Very careful." The line went dead. I tried to shake it off as paranoia, maybe a test from the company. But over the next 3 weeks, strange things started happening. A black SUV would be parked outside my building when I left for work. I'd catch glimpses of the same man in a gray suit at the bodega, at the subway station, outside my favorite cafe. Then came the photographs. Someone slipped them under my door. Photos of me, walking to work, getting coffee, sitting by my window at night. The message scrawled on the back of one photo made my blood run cold. "They're watching. Soon they'll move." I went to the police. They took a report but said without concrete threats, there wasn't much they could do. I should be vigilant and call 911 if anything escalates. That was the last normal conversation I ever had with law enforcement. October 13th, midnight. I was in my apartment, doors locked, lights off, trying to sleep but failing miserably. Every sound made me jump. Every car passing below made my heart race. Then I heard it. The sound of my front door lock clicking open. I froze. I had locked it. I had checked it 3 times. The door swung open slowly, and 3 figures entered. Large men in dark suits. And behind them, backlit by the hallway light, stood him. He was tall, maybe 6'3", with dark hair slicked back and a face that looked carved from marble. Sharp jawline. Piercing gray eyes. Expensive suit that probably cost more than my entire year's rent. He moved with the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. "Sophia Russo," he said in that same velvet voice from the phone call. "We need to go. Now." I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand. "Get out or I'm calling the police." He didn't flinch. "The men who took those photographs are 3 blocks away. They will be here in approximately 4 minutes. When they arrive, they will not be as courteous as I am being." "Who are you?" "My name is Dante Valentino. And right now, I'm the only thing standing between you and a very painful death." One of his men stepped forward with a phone, showing me a screen. Live security footage from outside my building. 3 black vans. Men with guns getting out. 3 minutes now, Dante said calmly. "You can come with me and live, or you can stay here and see what they do to people who accidentally learn mafia secrets. Your choice." I looked at the screen. At the men. At Dante's unflinching gray eyes. "Where are you taking me?" "Somewhere safe. That's all you need to know." I had 30 seconds to grab my phone, my laptop, and a jacket before Dante's hand closed around my wrist and he pulled me toward the fire escape. We went up, not down, racing across rooftops while below I heard my apartment door being smashed in. Gunshots. Shouting in Italian. Chaos. We reached another building where a helicopter waited. An actual helicopter on a New York City rooftop. As we lifted off, I watched my building recede into the distance, smoke rising from somewhere on my floor. What the hell is happening? I demanded. Dante leaned back, completely calm despite the fact that we just escaped a gunfight. You translated a document 3 weeks ago. That document contained the locations and access codes for 15 offshore accounts belonging to the Cordano family. They believe you copied the information. They will torture you to find out what you know, then kill you. My job is to make sure that doesn't happen. I didn't copy anything. I know. But they don't. And they won't believe you, no matter how much you scream. We flew for 45 minutes before landing at a private estate in the Catskills. It was massive, surrounded by walls, gates, and armed guards. This wasn't a safe house. This was a fortress. Dante led me inside a mansion that looked like it belonged in a European castle. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, oil paintings that were probably worth millions. Your room is upstairs, third door on the left, Dante said. Everything you need is there. Don't leave the house. Don't try to contact anyone. Don't go near the windows. These rules are not negotiable. So I'm a prisoner. His jaw tightened. You're alive. Most people in your situation aren't that fortunate. Why are you helping me? What do you want? For the first time, something flickered in those cold gray eyes. The Cordano family killed my sister 2 years ago because she witnessed something she shouldn't have. They made it look like a car accident, but I know the truth. When I learned they were targeting you for something you didn't even do, I decided maybe this time, I could save someone. Before I could respond, he turned and walked away, leaving me alone in a golden cage. The room was luxurious. King-size bed. Private bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people. A closet filled with clothes in exactly my size, which should have been comforting but was actually terrifying. How long had he been planning this? I tried the door. Locked from the outside. I tried the windows. Bulletproof glass, and 30 feet above concrete. I was trapped. That first night, I didn't sleep. I paced. I cried. I planned escape routes that would never work. And I tried to understand how my boring life as a translator had turned into a mafia thriller. The next morning, I was brought breakfast by a woman named Maria, who spoke no English but smiled kindly. The door was left unlocked. I explored cautiously. The house was enormous, filled with guards who nodded politely but watched my every move. I found a library, a gym, an indoor pool. It was the most beautiful prison I'd ever seen. I found Dante in his office, surrounded by papers and speaking rapid Italian into a phone. When he saw me, he ended the call. Sleep well. I'm kidnapped. What do you think? He almost smiled. Almost. You're protected. There's a difference. For how long? Until the Cordano family either believes you don't have their information, or until they're no longer a threat. And how long will that take? Maybe months. My stomach dropped. I can't stay here for months. I have a life. A job. Friends who'll worry. Your life is over if you go back, Dante said flatly. I've had my people spread word that you fled the country after the attack. The Cordanos will keep looking, but eventually, they'll assume you're either dead or gone. Then you can resurface with a new identity, a new city, a fresh start. You've got this all figured out. I've been doing this for 15 years. Yes, I have it figured out. Over the next few days, a strange routine developed. Dante would work during the day, and I'd explore the estate. In the evenings, we'd eat dinner together, a bizarre formality that felt like dating in captivity. And slowly, terrifyingly, I started to see past the mafia boss exterior. He played piano beautifully. Classical pieces that filled the house with melancholy. He read philosophy. Dostoevsky. Books lined with notes in the margins. He was kind to his staff, especially Maria, whose son he was putting through medical school. This was a man who lived in violence but surrounded himself with beauty. A killer who loved poetry. A criminal who saved lives. And I was falling for him. It was dangerous. Stupid. Completely insane. But when he looked at me with those gray eyes, when his hand would accidentally brush mine, when he'd smile at something I said, I felt something I'd never felt before. One night, during a thunderstorm, the power went out. I panicked, the darkness bringing back memories of that midnight abduction. Dante found me in the hallway, hyperventilating. Without a word, he pulled me against his chest, his hand in my hair, his voice low and steady. "You're safe. I promise you. I will not let anything happen to you." I looked up at him, rain lashing against the windows, lightning illuminating his face. "Why?" I whispered. "Why do you care so much?" His thumb traced my cheek. "Because when I look at you, I see what my sister could have become. Should have become. And because somewhere in this darkness, you make me remember what it feels like to be human." He kissed me then. Slow. Desperate. And I kissed him back, knowing it was wrong, knowing it was dangerous, knowing I was falling in love with a man who lived in shadows. 3 weeks into my captivity, everything changed. I woke up to shouting. Gunfire. Chaos. The estate was under attack. Dante burst into my room, blood on his shirt, gun in his hand. "We need to go. The Cordanos found us." "How?" His face was stone. "Someone told them." We ran through the house, guards falling around us, bullets tearing through walls. Dante moved like a machine, returning fire, protecting me with his body, getting us to an underground garage. We got into an armored car and sped away as the mansion exploded behind us in flames. In the car, as we raced down dark country roads, I finally asked the question I was terrified to hear the answer to. "Who betrayed you?" Dante's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "Marco. My second in command. My best friend for 20 years. The Cordanos offered him $10 million and immunity. He took it. I'm so sorry." "This is my world, Sophia," he said bitterly. "This is what happens. Trust is a luxury I can't afford." We drove for hours, switching cars twice, until we arrived at a small cabin in the middle of nowhere. No guards. No staff. Just us. That night, as we sat by the fire, exhausted and traumatized, Dante finally opened up completely. He told me about growing up in the Mafia, about never choosing this life but being born into it, about the violence he'd witnessed, the things he'd done to survive, the people he'd lost. "I've been trying to get out for 5 years, he admitted. Slowly moving money, cutting ties, preparing for the day I can just disappear. But men like me don't get happy endings." I took his hand. "Maybe you do. Maybe this is your chance." He looked at me with something like hope. "If I do this, if I leave everything behind, I'll have nothing. No power. No protection. Just me. Just you is enough." The next week was the most peaceful of my life and the most terrifying. Dante and I stayed in that cabin, hidden from the world, pretending we were normal people with normal lives. We cooked together, talked for hours, made love by the fireplace, planned impossible futures. But reality came crashing back. Dante's phone rang. A call he'd been waiting for. When he hung up, his face was grim. "The Cordanos have agreed to a meeting. Neutral ground. They'll call off the hunt for you in exchange for information about my operations. Don't go. It's a trap. I know, but it's the only way to end this. If I don't go, they'll never stop looking for you. You'll spend the rest of your life running. Then we run together." He cupped my face in his hands. "Sophia, you have a chance at a real life. I won't take that from you. I don't want a life without you. You'll have one anyway." The meeting was set for 3 days later. Dante spent those days making arrangements, transferring money into an account in my name, creating a new identity for me, setting up a life in Vancouver where I could start over. On the last night, we didn't sleep. We held each other and pretended morning would never come. At dawn, Dante kissed me one last time. "If I don't come back, promise me you'll live. Really live. Fall in love again. Write that novel. Be happy. Dante. Promise me." "I promise." He walked out the door and I watched him drive away. That was 3 months ago. Dante never came back from that meeting. I waited at the cabin for 2 weeks before one of his men found me and gave me an envelope. Inside was a letter, a new passport, and keys to an apartment in Vancouver. The letter was short. Sophia. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. The Cordanos are finished, but so am I. I made choices I can't come back from. I need you to know that you saved me in ways you'll never understand. You reminded me that there's light even in the darkest places. Live for both of us. Always, D. I'm in Vancouver now. I have a small apartment overlooking the water. I'm writing that novel. And every day, I think about the Italian mafia boss who kidnapped me at midnight and told me it was for my safety. He was right. To us. But what he never told me, what he maybe didn't even know himself, was that in saving me, he gave me something I never expected. He gave me a story. A love. A reason to believe that even in darkness, even in violence, even in the most impossible circumstances, there's always a chance for something beautiful. I don't know if Dante is alive. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. But I know this, he changed my life. And wherever he is, I hope he knows he changed me too. If you made it this far, thank you for going on this journey with me. Hit that subscribe button for more thrilling mafia tales and dark romance stories every week. And comment below, do you think Dante survived? Would you have trusted him? I want to hear your theories. This is Sophia, reminding you that sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't the kidnapping, it's falling in love with the dangerous one. See you in the next story.